Morning, everyone. Welcome to Miracle our Wednesday meditation gathering. I'm so glad we're all here to share this time together. Meditation gathers strength when we meditate together. This week we have Robert Perry, who will lead us in meditation. Uh, Robert's got us started on this Wednesday meditation 6 years ago, and we've been doing it every Wednesday since. And so we have 20-minute meditation, and after that we open it up for sharing, and we end at 10:45. Over to you, Robert.
Thank you, Dan. It's good to be back. It's been a while. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years. That's amazing. I remember it so well. March of 2020, when it was all busting loose. Well, great to see all of you. Hope you can hear me okay. What I'd like to do this morning is have us do the meditation from lesson 47. Lesson 47 is God is the strength in which I trust. And it's one of the beginning lessons that feature meditation. The very first one is 41, and the next one's 44, next one's 45, and then 47, I guess, would be the fourth meditation lesson in the workbook. And I'll take us through the whole practice. There's an active part, but then the majority of it is the receptive meditation itself. But before I do that, I'd like to just show us a diagram that's meant to illustrate the kind of the essential motion that we're doing in the meditation. Can I share my screen here? Does that work? I can't. Okay.
I'll make you a co-host.
Okay.
Okay, you're now a co-host.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So not not the most sophisticated diagram here, but this is meant to illustrate the paragraph that is really the meditation instruction. And the idea in that paragraph is that there is the surface of your mind where things are churning and bubbling. So you can see you've got all the waves and bubbles and churning and so on. And then that's that's your starting point, and then you reach down below that churning and bubbling surface to the quiet depths. So this is like the ocean, or some kind of body of water in which there's a churning bubbling surface, a choppy surface, and then below that are quiet peaceful depths. And at the surface we have, the lesson mentions, a sense of inadequacy, anxiety. We're caught up with trivia. We have fear. We have depression. And we slip past all that and focus on reaching down to those quiet depths where there is the strength of God, where there is safety, where there is peace, where because the strength of God is there, nothing is impossible. And that's really the essence of this meditation. We just reach down from the choppy surface to the quiet, peaceful depths where the strength of God abides. And so we don't necessarily keep repeating words, although I think it is very helpful to repeat the line for the day, which is God is the strength in which I trust, when our mind starts to wander. Because while we're trying to reach down to those quiet depths, we know what's going to happen, right? Your mind wanders off into the trivia and the anxiety and the sense of weakness and inadequacy and all the stuff about your day that you're concerned about. Uh, so at that point, it's very helpful to repeat God is the strength in which I trust, and keep reaching down, sinking down to those peaceful depths. Okay. So, maybe I'll just go ahead and leave that up. But what I'd like to do is just walk you through. Do you still see my diagram? Yeah, okay. Thanks. Is walk you through the practice. And it says 5 minutes, but we're going to take 20. I'm sure we're all used to that. Uh, but I'll just leave that up, just kind of to leave that visual in your mind, even though this will be an eyes closed exercise. So we're doing the practice for lesson 47. God is the strength in which I trust. And the lesson begins with teaching that explains, well, we've got a few minutes. Let me just go ahead and read from the start. Okay? Why not? Just take a moment. So, lesson 47, God is the strength in which I trust. It opens by saying, if you are trusting your own strength, you have every reason to be apprehensive, anxious, and fearful. What can you predict or control? What is there in you that can be counted on? What would give you the ability to be aware of all the facets of any problem and to resolve it in such a way that only good can come of it? What is there about you that gives you the recognition of the right solution and the guarantee that it will be accomplished? Of yourself, you can do none of these things. To believe that you can is to put your trust where trust is unwarranted and to justify fear, anxiety, depression, anger, and sorrow. Who can put his faith in weakness and feel safe? Yet who can put his faith in strength and feel weak? God is your safety in every circumstance. His voice speaks for him in all situations and in every aspect of all situations, telling you exactly what to do to call upon his strength and his protection. There are no exceptions because God makes no exceptions. And the voice which speaks for him thinks as he does. So now we move into the practice. Today, we will try to reach past your own weakness, which is there on the surface, to the source of real strength, which is there in the quiet depths. 4 5-minute practice periods are necessary today, and longer and more frequent ones are urged. So here we go. Close your eyes and begin as usual by repeating today's idea. So close your eyes and repeat, God is the strength in which I trust. Then spend a minute or two in searching for situations in your life which you have invested with fear, dismissing each one by telling yourself, God is the strength in which I trust. So search your mind for situations that you have fear or worry or anxiety about. And with each one, dismiss it by saying, God is the strength in which I trust, and then move on to the next. I'll give you a couple of minutes for that. Keep going with searching for situations that you have invested with fear or worry or anxiety. Sometimes the ones that come to mind near the end are the most pertinent, and really try to dismiss them, each one with the line, God is the strength in which I trust. Right. You have now seen God as the strength in which I trust. Replace all those situations of fear and anxiety. The lesson continues. Now try to slip past all concerns related to your own sense of inadequacy. It is obvious that any situation which causes you concern is associated with feelings of inadequacy, since otherwise you would believe that you could deal with the situation successfully. It is not by trusting yourself that you will gain confidence, but the strength of God in you is successful in all things. The recognition of your own frailty is a necessary step in the correction of your errors, but it could hardly be a sufficient one in giving you the confidence which you need and to which you are entitled. You must also gain an awareness that confidence in your real strength is fully justified in every respect and in all circumstances. In the latter phase of the practice period, and now we begin the meditation part, try to reach down into your mind to a place of real safety. You will recognize that you have reached it if you feel a deep peace, however briefly. Let go all the trivial things, all those trivial situations and worries that churn and bubble on the surface of your mind, and reach down and below them to the kingdom of heaven. There is a place in you where there is perfect peace. There is a place in you where nothing is impossible. There is a place in you where the strength of God abides. So put all of your focus now, your total attention on that process of reaching down below that choppy surface with all those superficial concerns to the quiet depths where there is perfect peace. And every single time your mind wanders back to the surface, just repeat, God is the strength in which I trust, and let your focus return to reaching down towards that place of perfect peace.
Okay, we have 15 minutes left for sharing. If you'd like to share, raise your hand and I'll invite you to take yourself off mute. Linda.
Oh, thank you, Robert. You've come at a really brilliant time because I've been practicing my lessons for the year, and yesterday it was miracles are seen in light and strength are one. I had no idea. That's telling me it's half an hour to say it.
Good for
I
you.
had no idea what strength meant. It was a word. And as far as I was concerned, strength is being able to. And I have been totally confused with it. You coming up with this today is my miracle. So if you could, I want to feel. I don't want the word just as a word. I want to be able to feel and know exactly truth about it. So could you just say something about that for me, please?
Sure. How interesting. So are you in review 3 right now?
Sorry?
Are you in review 3 in the workbook right now?
Yes, I'm on, it's lesson 112, but it was
Yeah.
yesterday's
Yeah.
that, and I've been saying it every hour and on the half hour, but that word strength completely made me feel stupid. What's that word mean? I want to know with truth and love what it is.
Well, I think that it helps to have an idea that, God is a strength on which we can rely and is a strength that is also within us. But the point of the meditation was for us to have more of an experience, more of a feeling of that strength by sinking down to a place in our mind where that strength always lives. And so I think it's super helpful to be taught that we can rely on and rest on God's strength, that that strength is also within us. But the point of the meditation is to have, focused times during the day in which we are trying to reach down to that place in our mind where we can actually contact that strength. And then it becomes more than just the word.
Yes, thank you. But the whole of your talking about the lesson of 47, was it? Helped me greatly. And when I was able to go into that meditation, I could drop down and feel a different word strength. It wasn't
Mm,
just a word,
hmm
it
hmm
was trust in God's strength
Yeah,
and my own, my
yeah,
one with God.
yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, perfect
Yes,
timing
thank
then.
you so much for that. Thank you. And it's a
Yeah.
miracle this is what you've brought up today.
Oh, thank you, Linda. That's great.
Who'd like to share? Teresa.
Hi, Robert. It's lovely to
Hi.
see you again. Thank
Yeah,
you.
great to be here.
Yeah. Now,
I planned it to land on your birthday.
and landing on my birthday, it was like I have age on my mind,
Oh yeah, yeah.
old age, and I know that I know that time isn't real. But in the illusion, it feels that way. So with the meditation, it was so lovely because I could see from that visual. Okay, people I love dying. Oh, this one dying, that one dying. And, this is what's on my mind with aging. And then sinking down, oh, my own death. Oh, my goodness. So it was all about death. But it was okay because as I started to sink down, that was what was on the surface. But sinking down was, well, there is no death. We are all together. And, it's like there's this beautiful love that we all are. And I can let time go. So it was a lovely meditation. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, that it sounds like it was appropriate for some of those birthday anxieties that I think many of us have. Thanks, Teresa.
Bridget, did you have your hand up before? Take yourself off mute.
I was thinking of Linda's comment about strength. And when you think of the opposite, which is weakness, I mean, you do become what you think of, don't you? Or what you think of and what you are aware of and what you do, etc., etc. So, so naturally, if you meditate on things like that, it does naturally become stronger in you, and any weakness that you are thinking of, or doubts, etc., that naturally diminishes, and it corresponds with, I think you mentioned being limits, or being limitless, and the more we focus on the fact that we are limitless, so age doesn't come into it, Teresa. We're limitless, and that reinforces our strength, etc., etc. So the more we focus on any of those qualities and attributes, the more they're emphasized. So and the more we are aware of them. So if you keep thinking, oh, I'm weak, or I can't do this, or I can't, or that's not for me, or I'm getting too old, or what have you. If you remember that you're limitless, that is your strength, and that's reinforced the more you focus on it. That makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Jim.
Yes, thank you very much, Robert. What came up for me really was the sense that really the strength of God is the ability to see through the illusion, or just to see the illusion for what it is. And that removes the need for me to expend effort trying to improve it. So, I can certainly associate with the exhaustion you speak of, because I get periods of it as well. And it's a reminder, really, that when I feel I can do less, in some ways, life seems to get better. Life seems to go on better because I'm not interfering with it. So, but the main thing that came from me was this sense that the real strength is just seeing through the illusion. It's not about necessarily doing things, but knowing what is real.
Yeah, although the lesson I think would spread it out very, very broadly, because it talks about the strength of God allows you to know what the best course of action is. And that comes up in those first few paragraphs that I read. So I've come to think that trust in God's strength, trust in God's love, which is within us and beyond us as well, is a real power. Like our trust activates something. It sets things in motion. And I think that I don't know, it's just one of those central qualities. And of course it's the foundational quality in the characteristics of God's teachers. So even though we don't have tons of lessons that talk about trust, obviously this one does, I think it's one of those central things in life, trusting in a strength beyond the strength of this separate self.
Yes, thank you, Robert.
All right. Anybody else?
Norman, take yourself off mute, and then Dennis after that.
Yes, thank you very much. I've been very close to God, but at the moment I feel separated for the simple reason I have plantar fasciitis, I think it's called, in my left foot, and it just doesn't seem, it takes longer to go away apparently the older you get, and I was 80 this year. And on top of that, I had a horrible cold, and I'm just feeling sorry for myself basically. And it was just during the meditation, you know, I can't have both. And it's there, the peace of God is there, but there's something holding me back. And I just can't figure out how can I be so close most of the time, and now I've ended up on the opposite. the depths of the ocean, and I feel like I'm drowning in it instead of drowning in love. So it's nice to know that it's not real, but unfortunately, I'm making it real at the moment. So it's getting back to the way I used to be. You know, sort of, I'm back. Please take me back. The prodigal son syndrome. I want to come home. So it's
Well, you know, health issues will do it. I don't know. I'm sure many of you are aware of the teacher Adyashanti. He retired a few years ago because he'd been through years of intense physical pain that they couldn't find the cause of. And once the pain was over, he found that he basically had some kind of post-traumatic, lingering effect. And he actually resigned from his teaching role because of that. So here's somebody that, many people consider to be fully awake. And yet, when stuff is going on with your body, it tends to take your attention right to it, and then to thoughts of where is this going? And so I think that it is really helpful to have something like this exercise where we just move our attention from all that stuff, which can include, lots of health stuff, to a place where that stuff is not there, and where we can trust something, and not know the specifics and not know where it's all going, but we still can just rest in that trust.
Thank you.
Yeah, and unfortunately, these things seem to happen more often, with each new birthday. Don't know what that's about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dennis, do you want to share?
Years ago, I belonged to a group, and we had to read from the book. And when it came to me, I used to pray to God and say, "Can the lights go out when it's my turn? Or can someone walk into the room? Or can a thunderstorm start?" And it won't come to me reading out the book. Yes, a few years later, I was out in the Maldives on a fishing trip. I just went for the boat trip, and they came across a coral in the middle of nowhere. And there was a panic because they had no life jackets, no radio, no flares, no nothing. And everybody wanted to get the boat off the coral in a panic. And I suddenly stood up and said, "No, have a look down below, take the boards up to see if the water's coming in. Otherwise, we go off the coral and we all sink." And that strength came from somewhere. It wasn't me, but it was a strength that came. Well, I don't know where it came from, but I felt a strength that I had to say something.
Well, now you got to tell us what happened. I mean, come on. Like, how did it turn out?
Well, they checked underneath the boat, and it wasn't there wasn't any water coming in, so it was okay to go off the rocks. But before that,
Mhm.
they were in a panic and running about and wanting to get off the rocks in a panic. And I thought, if the boat's been holed, we're going to sink out there, and no one will know where we are, and no one will know anything. We'll probably all drown. Where we're safer, hold on the coral for the boat to hold us.
Yeah, I think that's totally a real thing where, every now and then we say something and we're not even quite sure where it came from. The example that always comes to my mind is where Helen Schuckman and Bill Thetford had just met Judith Skutch Whitson, who would go on to be really the publisher of A Course in Miracles. And they're having this lunch with Judy and talking about, she doesn't know what they're doing. They don't really know all of her interests, and it's going nowhere. And they're just prattling on about, I think, psychological testing methods or something. And out of the blue, Judy turns to Helen and says, something like, you're hearing an inner voice, aren't you? Or something like that. No reason to say that. No understanding of why she said that. And that out of the blue statement basically turned everything. And then they took her up to their office and showed her A Course in Miracles, and the rest is history, as they say. I do think that there are moments, and probably way more than we realize, where something bubbles up, something prompts us, and it's basically the Holy Spirit, right?
Okay, we've come to the end of our time together. Thank you, Robert. That was wonderful. Take yourself off mute. Show your appreciation to Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you,
Thank
Robert.
you, Robert.
That was
Thank you.
wonderful.
Happy birthday, Teresa.